Welcome class 12th. I hope you all are happy, healthy and safe at your homes. And apart from enjoyment, you must be giving some time to your studies also. Dear students, so far with the help of this online platform, I had explained almost 3 chapters with you. One in organic, then haloalkanes and haloarenes, then another in physical solid states, and one in organic biomolecules. And I am quite sure that you would have understood it. I request humbly to all of you to go through your NCERT book, and in your first step of preparation you must solve all the questions, whether they are in-text questions or they are exercise questions or they are different examples that are given in NCERT book for your better board preparations. As I discussed with some of you that in CBSE board examinations, basic reference book is your NCERT textbook. So for a better preparation, one cannot ignore it. It is must to solve all the questions, whether they are examples, whether they are in-text questions or they are exercise questions that are given in our NCERT book. So I humbly request all of you to try at your own. I had given one assignment which is not yet been submitted by any one of you. I humbly request to all of you to go solve that assignment and submit, so that I can understand that how much you understood and what are the factors that we need to address. Today I will take up another chapter. I will start a new chapter, but in coming time I am going to take a question answer session for the chapters that I already taught. So I request to go through those chapters. Tomorrow I will try to take a question answer session on chapter solid state. So today all of you go through solid state so that tomorrow we can discuss it. The new chapter that I selected is solutions. So this is another very important chapter, and the chapter includes theoretical problems, chapter includes numerical problems. A large variety of problems could exist there. We will try to understand it. In this module, in our today's discussion, I will tell you what is a solution, how these solutions are classified, what are the methods of expressing concentration of different solutions. So let's get started. First we try to understand what is the meaning of solution. In our lower classes, when we was discussing the composition of matter, then we classified the matter into 2 categories: pure substances and mixtures. And then these mixtures are of 2 types: one that are homogeneous and other that are heterogeneous. So matter around us is classified into two categories: pure substances and mixtures, and further these mixtures are of two types: homogeneous and heterogeneous. So first we learn this difference between these two terms, pure substance and a mixture. A pure substance has got a fixed chemical composition and comprise only one type of particle. Now here term particle refers either to the atoms or to the molecules. Say for example we take water, so that contains only H2O molecules. We take nitrogen, so that take only N2 molecules. We take iron, so that contains only iron atoms. So they has got only one type of particles, that is either only one type of atoms or only one type of molecules. But once we come to the mixtures, they contains two or more type of particles. Two or more type of pure substances, they are mixed to get a mixture. Now this mixture could be heterogeneous, this mixture could be homogeneous. Hetero means different, homo means same. A heterogeneous mixture has got different compositions at different parts of this mixture. It contains two phases or two more phases. Say for example, we take a beaker that is filled with water and we add few stones to it. So this contains two substances, a water and mixture, and two different phases, one liquid phase of water and one solid phase of stone is available. So that is called heterogeneous, having different compositions at different parts. But on the contrary, if we take a beaker which is filled with water, we add some sugar to it. So at first we can see the heap of sugar present at the bottom of beaker, sugar. But after some time, a homogeneous mixture is formed where you were not able to distinguish sugar and water. It is uniformly mixed. And the mixture which is prepared here is uniform throughout, has got identical properties in its all parts. Properties means its appearance, its color, its density, its refractive index, composition, taste, etc. After this mixture is formed, this doesn't happens that you taste it from the upper part of this mixture, so that will have a different sweetness, or that you take from the bottom, it will have different sweetness. But once it was not found, then you take water from the upper side, it will be tasteless. You take it from the lower side, it will be sweet. So by the time this mixture was complete, this was heterogeneous, where water and sugar was visible. But once it is complete, it's formed, it is homogeneous. So term homogeneous refers identical properties throughout the mixture. So a solution is defined as a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances, two or more chemically non-reactive substances whose compositions can be varied to certain extent. Say for example, we have three beakers, each having 100 ml of water, and in one beaker I added 3 grams of sugar, in other I added 5 grams of sugar, in other I added 7 grams of sugar, and in all the three cases we get a solution. So a true solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances who are chemically non-reactive with each other and whose compositions can be varied to certain extent. So this homogeneity and chemical non-reactivity between components is the essential condition for substances to form a true solution. There are certain substances which appears homogeneous from the outside, but they are not. Say for example, if you take a glass of water, if you take a glass of milk, so once you see from the outside, it looks homogeneous, but actually it is not. But a solution of sugar in water, salt in water, or alcohol in water, or gas in water, they all are homogeneous. Even the air which is present around us is also a solution, a homogeneous mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, methane, water vapors, etc. present in the atmosphere. When two substances are mixed, particle size in two solution is less than 10 angstrom and they cannot be separated by ordinary methods like filtration or centrifugation. But components of a solution can be separated using evaporation technique. So these are some of the common properties of a solution. I am quite sure that you are able to understand the concept of a solution. A homogeneous mixture of two or more chemically non-reactive substances whose compositions can be varied to some extent. And components of solution cannot be separated by using physical techniques like filtration or centrifugation. Now we come to the classification of solutions. So we come to the next topic, classification of solutions. Now as you know that to classify anything we need to choose parameters. Different type of parameters are required for the classification of any substance or anything else. Say for example, we go to purchase a shirt. So there are certain parameters on the basis of which we choose a shirt. Quality of fabric, color, fitting, pricing, brand, etc. And if all these things suits to us, its fitting is good, its color suits at our color, its fabric is good, price is good, it is from a good company, so we say that this shirt is good. And if it doesn't, say for example, I go to a shop and I ask the shopkeeper to show me shirts, and he show me the shirts are 45 size, 46 size and I need 42. So what I say? It's not good. So for classifying anything we need parameters. Similarly, solutions can also be classified on various parameters. First, depending upon number of components present. Depending on number of components present. How many components are mixed to form a solution? A binary solution that has two components, a ternary solution has three components, or quaternary solution has got four components, and so on. Say for example, you have taken water and you have added sugar to it and a solution was made. So two things are being mixed. So it is a binary solution. You added lemon also to make it more tasty. Now three things are present in this solution: water, sugar and lemon juice. So it is a ternary solution. You added something salt, a pinch of salt also to it. So that becomes a quaternary solution. So depending on the number of components that are present, it could be a binary solution, ternary solution, quaternary solution. However, at this class 12th level, whenever we say a solution, that means a binary solution. Our discussion is mainly confined. Our discussion is mainly confined with the solution having two components only. So in these binary solutions, there is a solute, there is a solvent. Two components that are present, they are named as solute and solvent. Now, it is present in lesser quantity and it is present in larger quantity. Present in larger quantity. This may or may not have same phase to that of solution. And solvent always has same phase to that of same phase to that of solution. So depending upon the number of components that are used to make a solution, it could be a binary solution which have two substances mixed together. A ternary solution has three substances that are mixed. Quaternary solutions where four components are mixed to make that solution. But as far as class 12 discussion is concerned, once we are largely concerned with binary solutions only. So whenever we say term solution, we use term solution, it should be perceived as a binary solution. And as far as binary solution is concerned, the component which is present in a smaller quantity is called solute, and component that is present in larger quantity is called solvent. Say for example, we have taken a beaker full of water and we added a teaspoon of sugar to it. So water is solvent and sugar is solute. We had taken 20 ml of water and added 2 ml of alcohol to it. So 20 ml water is solvent and 2 ml alcohol is solute. So this is about classification depending on the number of components. Then classification of binary solutions can also be done on the relative amount of solute which is present. So depending on the relative amount of solute, depending upon relative amount of solute, the solution is classified as dilute, concentrated, saturated, and supersaturated. Dilute means solvent is present in large quantities and solute is present in very small quantity. Concentrated means amount of solute is present in relatively larger proportions. Say for example, we have two solutions where 100 ml of water is taken, both the cases, and here 3 grams sugar is added, here 10 grams sugar is added. So this will be a dilute solution, this will be a concentrated solution. Further, if we have a solution where in 100 ml water 15 gram of sugar is added, then this becomes dilute and other one becomes concentrate. So dilute and concentrated, they are relative terms. However, if amount of solute is less than 5%, then it is treated as a dilute solution. It has got a different set of properties, and if the amount of solute exceeds to this range, then that is treated as a concentrated solution and that have a different set of properties. Then we come to the saturated solution. A saturated solution is one where more amount of solute cannot be dissolved. Say for example, you have taken this 100 ml of water, you added 3 gram of sugar to it, it mixed, then you added another 3 gram, it mixed, then you added another 3 grams, it will also mix. But this doesn't mean that you keep on adding and that will keep on dissolving. No, there is a limit. A situation will come where more amount of solute cannot be dissolved in given amount of solvent, and that solution is called as a saturated solution, where more solute cannot be dissolved. And if solution contains amount of solute more than what is required for making a saturated solution, then it is called a supersaturated solution. Say for example, in 100 ml, maximum 30 grams of salt can be dissolved, but you add 35 grams of salt to that, so that will become a saturated solution. So depending upon the relative amounts of solute and solvent, solutions are classified as dilute solutions, concentrated solutions, saturated solutions and supersaturated solutions. Now there is another criteria for the classification of solutions, and that is physical states of solute and solvent. Matter is known to exist in three different states, that is solid, liquid and gas. And all these three states can act as a solute and as a solvent. So if solvent is taken as liquid, then solid, liquid, gas. Solvent is taken as solid, then again solid, liquid, gas. And if gas is taken as solvent, then again solid, liquid and gas. So total 9 type of solutions are known, and they are named as solute in solvent solution. Say for example, here solute is solid and solvent is liquid, so it is named as solid in liquid solution. Solute is liquid, solvent is also liquid, so this is called as liquid in liquid solutions. And this is gas. Gas is solute, this is solvent, so this is called as gas in liquid solutions. And all these three, they are collectively called as liquid solutions. In the similar way, solid in solid solutions, liquid in solid solutions, gas in solid solutions, and all the three are collectively called as solid solutions. Then solid in gas solution, liquid in gas solution and gas in gas solution, and the three are collectively called as gaseous solutions. Now solid in liquid, sugar mixed in water, salt mixed in water, water and alcohol, water and sulfuric acid, and gas in liquid, carbonated drinks. Favorite to all of you, Thumbs Up, Pepsi, Coke. In these type of drinks, carbon dioxide gas is dissolved in a liquid. So they are gas in liquid solutions and are called, examples are carbonated drinks. Liquid in liquid solution, water and alcohol, water and sulfuric acid. Then solid in liquid solutions, where a solid solute is dissolved in a liquid. For example, sugar dissolved in water, salt dissolved in water, copper sulfate dissolved in water, potassium permanganate dissolved in water. These are the few examples of solid in liquid solutions. And all these three type of solutions, since solvent is a liquid, so all the three are collectively called as liquid solutions. And this chapter that we are going to discuss is mainly concerned with these type of solutions, liquid solutions only. So from this point onwards, whenever we are going to use term solution, that means a binary liquid solution, means a solution that has got two components, out of which solvent is a liquid. We will discuss here what are the properties of solid in liquid solutions, what are the properties of liquid in liquid solutions, what are the properties of gas in liquid solutions. Remaining these types you will study in your higher classes. So before I wind up, let me take this opportunity to revise the points that I discussed here. First, in this module, I had discussed what is a solution. A homogeneous mixture of two or more chemically non-reactive substances whose compositions can be varied to some extent is called a solution. For example, sugar mixed with water, or alcohol mixed with water, or oxygen gas dissolved in water, or carbon is mixed with iron to make steel, or mercury is mixed with sodium to form amalgam, or air which is present around us, which is also a homogeneous mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, methane and other gases. So this is the definition. In solutions, homogeneity and chemical non-reactivity between combining components is the essential part for any substance to be solution. Now, these solutions can be classified on the basis of number of components present. A binary solution has two components, a ternary solution has three components, and a quaternary solution has four components. They may be classified depending on the relative amounts of solute and solvents, a dilute solution, a concentrated solution, a saturated solution, and a supersaturated solution. And they can also be classified on the basis of physical states of solute and solvent, out of which a total 9 types of solutions are known. And as I told you that up to class 12 level we are confined only to a binary liquid solutions. So I am quite sure you are able to understand these things. Please go through your book also, and in next lecture we will discuss what is concentration of a solution and how it is expressed in different units. Thank you.